Where are my fucking glasses? Where are my glasses? Where are they? Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Hello. How are you? YouTube. Hold on, let me fix this real quick. Yeah. So I wanted to actually make a different type of video today. I know I've been reacting to a ton of things. I love music, I love anime, I love video games. So, a lot of those things when I react to it are really exciting to me. But in the background, something that I haven't fully disclosed unless you've followed my social media accounts or you look at TikTok or Instagram is, and I try not to talk about it that much, to be honest, because I know it's something that it's just like, I'm not trying to be that person that brings it up every single day. I will post every single day. It's something to hold me accountable. But I was doing 75 hard in the background, which is definitely a difficult challenge. I actually just read a stat that said I think 1% of people fail this challenge, which is insane that many people struggle with doing 75 hard. And I'm not shocked. It's a very difficult challenge. If you're unfamiliar with what 75 hard is, it's basically where you have to do one outdoor workout, one indoor workout. They at least have to all be 45 minutes. You have to read 10 pages. You have to drink a gallon of water. You have to do a progress pick. And I'm forgetting one. Progress, and you have to follow a diet strictly. So I also forgot no drinking. No drinking for 6 months. Or for, oh, Jesus Christ, no drinking for 75 days. All right. Just want to throw that in there. It's comprised of 6 things that are just really important to overall kind of just like bettering your lifestyle and your mental health. And it's more than just like a fitness challenge. I think a lot of people want to associate it with like a fitness challenge, but it's actually more of a mental health and a discipline challenge. It's, because you have to remain consistent for 75 days. A lot of people think 75 hard, that you have to be hard for 75 days. I did not have to be hard for 75 days. That is not one of the 6 items. And so I just completed it. Hooray. I got it done. I finished it. It was something that I never thought I would be able to really do. It was just like, I always wanted to do it. I always wanted the discipline. But the haters are my motivators. And I felt like, even though nobody explicitly said it, I just felt like people were like, no way he can do it. I feel like you always have people that want you to fail. I also had a lot of support, a lot of people that were encouraging me to complete it. And I want to give my tips and tricks to maybe being successful. I'm also going to post the before and after photos in this video because I want you guys to see the progress. Like, I'm in no way, shape, or form done. There's still like a lot of progress that needs to be made. But I've made a really good runway in 2.5 months. And what's really interesting about this program is I feel like 2.5 months is just enough time to like really get in the routine and see like really powerful results. But it's not the length of time to where it's going to be like absolutely insane like results, like an insane transformation, but it's enough to get you in the healthy habits that can get you there and want you to keep going there and get you in a routine. And I would say that 75 hard, not to be dramatic, was like relatively life-changing. I think it really changed my mindset. It gave me some just really incredible healthy habits that like I want to keep up, and it has me focused on moving in the right direction. I feel like in my life to really make a lot of really big positive changes and just keep moving. When I started, I was traveling for 3 months. I'd been kind of eating a lot. I've been drinking a lot. I would say like I think mentally I was a little fatigued from all the travel. My body was definitely not in the right shape. Like I was definitely a little thicker, or like I would like lose weight, but it wasn't like muscle. Like I was losing muscle, right? So it just wasn't physically where I want to be. And I'll be transparent. I saw a picture of myself and I had like a big beer gut. And I was just like, oh, hell nah. Hell nah. I can't be the thickest one in the room. I cannot be the thickest one in the room. And that's personally me. Like, if you are that thick and you like being that thick, that's perfectly fine. But I did not feel like when my friends have like 6 packs and 8 packs, I'm not trying to be the one that looks like the schmuck in that picture. So I think that was really motivating for me as well, is I just wanted to physically, look better. I wanted in my standards. And so that motivated me a lot. And I had my friend hit me up. And he was like, hey, Anthony, and big shout out to you, Gabe. Thank you for telling me you were doing this and hitting me up. But he said that he was doing 75 hard as well, or doing 75 hard. And I was like, I really want to do this. I knew for me personally, I had to start it as soon as I got back from traveling and I got back into my apartment in Los Angeles. I knew I had to start it right away, because if I fell back into the habits of going out every weekend or, eating unhealthy and door dashing, it was going to be really hard for me to then turn off that routine that I had and dive into 75 hard. So I knew as soon as I landed, I had to be motivated and I had to start. And so I did, and I made it a mission to get this done. I was very highly motivated, and that just helped a ton. But like, I'm not gonna lie, like some of these days were tough. Like the first week was easy. First week was when I was the most motivated to complete this challenge. But going into the 4th, the 5th week, the 6th week, when you're slugging it out, you have other stuff happening. Life is going on. People are asking you to do things. You're wanting to go out, you're getting bored, you're lonely. These are all things that start to come in, I think, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th week, and farther on, that make it really difficult. But we were able to get through it. I'm going to put like my progression as well, like my physicals, so you guys can see like where I was before and where I was kind of after. I still need to get a DEXA scan, like post 75 hard, but this was towards like the tail end of the week, and I was down 7% body fat, which was like really exciting. But I'll talk about the physical stuff after. But I want to give my tips and tricks here for what made me successful, what allowed me to actually get through this, because I know it's not an easy thing. As I mentioned earlier, 1% of people fail. So what are things that you can do to essentially not fail this? So I'll give a couple tips. I think number one is like your mental state. You have to be wanting to go into 75 hard, like prepared to knock out the whole thing, prepared to go through the mud, prepared to, when it gets hard, keep yourself accountable. And if you're not in the right mental state, if you're just like, oh, it's January, I'm going to do like a quick little thing, it's not going to work. It's not going to work, right? You have to go in with the mindset that I'm completing this whole thing. I'm doing it. I'm hungry for it. I want to change this lifestyle. I want to reap the benefits of the words and reap the benefits of my actions, whatever that phrase is. And you have to want to see those results, and you have to keep reminding yourself that every day that, look, I need to do this. I think the other thing that helps is finding ways to hold yourself accountable in this. So for me, it was very much like posting on social media every day, or almost every day. I think I missed like one day every now and then, but posting every day. So like, number one, other people saw that I was doing it, whether they were engaged or not. Now people are invested in seeing if I fail or not. And I think by having that, it was like, okay, I need to keep going because I don't want to fail. I don't want people to know that I gave up on this. And so that motivated me. I think also having a group chat of friends that were also doing it really motivated. So if you can find other people that want to do it with you. So if you have friends that are interested in doing it with you, or if you have just like, if you don't have anybody that wants to do it, you can always go on like Reddit forums or et cetera, or find other people that are doing 75 hard. And I think like joining a group of people that are doing it, we would just send a checklist every day, basically of all the things that we did to make sure that we knocked it out. And on top of that, we'd motivate each other. Like, there was one guy who was struggling at one point in the group chat. He was like, I'm like having trouble doing this. And we were basically like, hey man, like you got this. Don't worry. It's going to be tough, but like, just get through it. Remember why you're doing this. And like having those voices of other people to just motivate you and keep you focused. And when you're having like a struggle day, like to just kind of like uplift you, I think is really important. And if you can have people in person, like the people I was doing this with were across the country. But I think if you have people even in like the same area and you can do your workouts together, I think that's really important because it just keeps you motivated and can help you get over the edge when you're having those tough days. So I think number one is mentality, and then two, holding yourself accountable. I'd say number three is make it fun, mix it up, right? So for like your workouts, right? If you're doing the same thing every single day, you're gonna get bored. So I think like, find like a routine that seems reasonable for you. That's, in my case, mine's longer than 75 days, so I'm gonna keep this going while it ends. But find something that is really, where you're really gonna see progress. So if you like weightlifting, find something where you can see that progressive overload, that progressive progress over the course of, those weeks. So you can really see like the gains from lifting, right? Like I think that's what motivates a lot of weightlifters is being able to push more weight, being able to increase volume. So really be organized about tracking it and like follow that program to a T, but make it fun, make sure the program has enough variance to where you're not doing the same thing every day and it's exciting. Maybe in 4 weeks it switches up the things that you're doing, right? Mine, I think it's like 4 weeks of this type of weightlifting and then another 3 weeks of this type of weightlifting, and then so it would switch up the different styles, so it made it really fun. On top of that, the outdoor workout, right? Mix up your outdoor workout. Maybe a couple days you go for a run, but you might not want to run every day, so mix it up. Maybe go for a walk. It doesn't have to be an intense workout, right? You don't need to burn yourself out. Like it could be a 45-minute walk. It could be over periods of time. You're hitting my water. You're hitting 45 minutes, but make sure you're just doing something. Jeez, everything is falling apart right now. Make sure you're just doing something that's sustainable, right? So outdoor workout doesn't have to be anything crazy, but it could be a walk, it could be a run. Do a class, sign up for ClassPass. ClassPass was my best friend. During my rest days, I was doing hot yoga every single Saturday. And then maybe if you want to mix it up, they have like, for example, I signed up for an outdoor boxing class to knock my outdoor workout out. So like mix it up, have fun. These workouts don't have to be grueling. These are things you might want to set up so you can look forward to them. So I think mix up your workouts, make them fun, make it something sustainable. That goes into my fourth tip, which is diet. Like I think dieting for everybody can be a little bit difficult. It's not fun to have to follow a strict plan all the time. You want to go out, you want to be able to eat whatever you want. And so my biggest tip there is find something that is sustainable for you, right? Not every type of diet works for every single person. Whether it's, for me, macros was the best way, right? So I found like actually a really comprehensive macro calculator on Reddit, pulled that out, put in my numbers, figured out how many calories I need to eat, how much, based upon how much I was working out. And it worked for me. I was able to lose weight and still maintain muscle while going through this process, which was really awesome. But I would say for everybody that might not work. Not everybody is like, I'm not good at tracking every little thing that I eat, which is fine. But you need to either figure out a way to make that work, or maybe you need to find a diet that's going to fit, that's going to work for you and is sustainable. Don't pick like some juice diet. Don't pick like one that's really taxing on your body. Don't restrict your calories to like 1,000 calories a month to try to like lose a ton of weight initially, right? You're going to feel awful. You're not going to have energy. And also you're going to lose muscle if that's, you're not your goal. It's going to not be a fun experience. You want to make sure you have the energy to stay for the 75 days. So pick something, or stay active for the 75 days. So pick something that's reasonably a diet, but also you can maintain that diet. So for my macros, I think I didn't have like a super deep calorie restriction. I had a slight calorie restriction. Maybe intermittent fasting works for you, right? Maybe you want to intermittent fast and save your calories for later, right? But find something that works for you. I still think overall you should have some type of tracking. That's with your workouts and that's with your diet as well. You should be tracking some type of data because if you're not tracking the amount of calories that you're eating and what you're eating, it's going to become really difficult to know, basically to know if you're going to be in a deficit or not. If you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to gain weight, it's going to be difficult to know if you're in a surplus. And it does make it like 10 times easier if you're just tracking your food. So I would say at the bare minimum, like track your calories and what you're eating. Maybe you don't want to go to the macro level, but if you really want to see a lot of progress, I would say track your macros too. But once again, find a diet that works for you. Don't do anything that's too crazy because you have to do this for 75 days. This isn't like a week and a half or 2 week diet. This is 75 days. This is something that's supposed to somewhat be like something you can kind of do for a long time. So I highly recommend picking something that's reasonable. Let's see. What are some other tips that I have? I think put the calendar blocks on your phone. Maybe not calendar blocks, but put tasks on your phone so you're reminded of everything that you need to do. Just so you don't forget. That's an easy one. I'd say tip number 5, I think we're on 5 now, is what I did is I always, for water, you have to drink a gallon of water. I'm always struggling with going back and forth and filling up my water bottle. It's very time consuming, especially during the workday. During the workday, I'm like usually really locked in to what I'm doing, and it makes it really difficult to sometimes like get up and remember, be like, oh, I gotta go fill up my water bottle again, I gotta drink water. Go on Amazon, get a gallon water bottle. Just get a big one, I have it right here. Get a big gallon water bottle. You fill it up every day. You finish it. You know you hit your gallon. Makes it super easy. Like yes, lugging it around can be a pain if you're on the go a lot. So maybe make an adjustment if you're on the go or carry a backpack. But get a gallon water bottle. Super easy. You don't have to think about, oh, did I get my gallon? Is this the exact amount? No, you fill that thing up. You drink it throughout the day. You finish it. You hit your gallon. Super easy peasy. Makes it a pretty simple process for a gallon of water. I would say tip number 6. Don't get discouraged. Right? It's very normal to maybe not be losing weight as you once were, right? It's very normal to hit a stagnant place. It's very normal that in the progress photos, maybe right away you're not seeing the progress that you want. That all happens, right? That all happens. I think, unfortunately, my last like 2.5 weeks, I wasn't. I was used to losing a pound a week, and it was pretty consistent. I went from like 175 to like 166, and then got to a point where I wasn't getting lower. And so I was testing it out for a week and a half. I was like, I'm still not getting lower. What's going on? I'm eating the same amount of calories. I'm doing the same thing. And so maybe at some point I was like, okay, I need to reevaluate. But basically, it got to the point where I was like, oh man, I need to readjust my calories. So I readjusted. We're gonna see if that works. But the thing is, don't get discouraged, right? Because the progress is going to show, and it doesn't always necessarily show on the scale. Sometimes it's going to show in your body. Sometimes it's going to show in the fat loss. When you take your progress photos, you might see that. So it's not necessarily your scale that shows everything, right? Your body is doing recomposition even if you're not losing a pound or 2 pounds, right? And it usually, as you start to lose weight and your body fat percentage lowers, it becomes more difficult to lose those pounds that you want to lose than when you have a lot of body fat. So don't get discouraged there. Stay motivated. Stay on course. It's going to pay off, right? It's going to 100% pay off. I'm trying to think if there are any other tips that were useful for me. Oh, I think another tip is just mentally is mental. Like it does start to take a little bit of a toll. I think for me, I did feel like some days I was definitely more lonely than other days, because you're gonna be by yourself a lot of the time, unless you're doing this with a group, which kind of eliminates that. So that's why I recommend maybe having a group that you're doing this with, because it can eliminate that feeling of loneliness. But when you're doing like a strict program like this, you're spending a lot of time at the gym, outside, cooking, right? Because you don't necessarily want to eat out. You can do it every now and then, but it does make it very difficult to track your calories. So I just like recommend against it. I did it a couple times, but I really made sure what I was eating was like fitting my diet, or I really restricted my calories at home so I could go eat out. But you are spending a lot of time alone. And even when you do like go out, if you're going out to like bars, if you're going out to parties with your friends because you still want to be social, it still can sometimes feel a little bit lonely because like you're not partaking in that same environment that they are. And it gets to a point where it's like, people might be too drunk. It's not really fun. It's not really that fun anymore. And so you're kind of like, and it's not a bad thing, right? It's just like, it's just mentally you're kind of in a different place where you're very focused on a couple things. And so it's a little bit difficult. It's more difficult to, I think, connect in that type of environment. And once you're in the routine, you don't really want to necessarily, I don't want to say be in that environment, but you're not really focused on that, right? You're not really focused on that stuff. So it can be a little bit lonely. It can be a little bit isolating because you have different goals at that point. And I don't think that's a bad thing, right? I think it's a good time to learn to be by yourself. I think that's the most important thing, is it's going to teach you to be able to be by yourself. And you're going to learn a lot about yourself during that process. But once again, I also don't think you should limit social activities. Like, don't cut everything off just because you're doing 75 hard. Don't be like, I'm not going to go out with my friends. I'm not going to go hang out at this party. I'm not going to go to this event or concert I really want to go to because I'm not drinking. Like, right? Do all of those social things so you're still social, but just get all of your stuff done. And you're going to be much happier because then you're still remaining social. It will help quell that loneliness a bit. I'd also say, like, yeah, definitely if you can't do it with friends, you're going to be way less lonely. I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but it is going to get hard. It's 75 flipping hard. It's in the name, right? It's not easy. This isn't 75 easy. This isn't 75 like we chilling. No, this is 75 hard, and it's going to get hard. I think, as mentioned earlier, you're hyper motivated that first week, so you're going to do every little thing to prepare. And you're going to be on it. I think you're going to be on it for that first week. Maybe the second week, you're even fully on it. Third, fourth, fifth, sixth week, once you start really getting in it, that's where the slog comes. That's where, oh, I had a bad day at work. I don't want to go to the gym. Oh, it's a long day at work. I don't want to go work out. Oh, I'm tired. I don't want to get up and do what I need to do, right? Like, oh, I forgot. It's late. I forgot to finish my gallon of water. I only drank like a quarter. I don't need to drink a gallon. I'm not going to do it, right? Oh, my progress photo, I really only want to take it in the morning because I look the best. I don't want to take it at night. All those excuses, all the little things are going to start coming in your head to make you to stop, to make you want to stop, to make you fail, to make you not be able to do it. And all I can say to that is you just got to remember why you're doing it and keep doing it. If you have that group chat, post in the group chat, say, hey, I'm having trouble today. I had a long day at work. It was really tough. I really don't want to go to the gym. Please motivate me to go. Please get me to go and go. Like, just get out, get there, put on clothes, get to the gym, get to outside, get to whatever you need to do. And if you get there and you just start, you're going to finish it. But you just got to start. There were some days I got migraines. I got like a really bad migraine. But I still had to do everything that I need to do. It sucked. It was awful. But we still got it done. And there are going to be days where you don't feel your best, where you might be a little under the weather. Maybe you have a headache. Maybe you have a stomach ache. At the end of the day, you still got to do it. Otherwise, you got to reset, right? So it's just fight through it, get everything done. Obviously, if you get injured, that's a different story. Maybe stop 75 hard and start again. But if you're not injured and it's just you're not feeling good, you gotta keep pushing. The other thing is like reading 10 pages a day, is not challenging in itself, but I think remembering to do it every day and wanting to do it every day can be a little bit tiring, especially if it's not a book that you're interested in. I also think that it can be if you wait like super late at night, like I typically do. I like to read before I go to bed. If you wait until the end of the night, sometimes you're really tired and you're just like, shoot, getting through these 10 pages is tough. I can't even keep my eyes open. So my advice there is just number one, pick a book that you like. I read like a really terrible book called The Motivation Manifesto. It was awful. It was just saying the same thing for 120 pages, and it was like absolutely miserable. I hated it, but I finished it because I was like almost done with it. I'm like, let me just get it done. But I don't recommend that. I recommend picking something that you're actually like really into. So it's like you're looking forward to those 10 pages as like a treat. Um, Rather than like picking something that you're not into and then you're just reading some like book that's not benefiting you or you're not excited to go read. Like pick something that's like exciting. I'd say also like pick up another tip. I think we're on tip like 8 or 9, but I'm done numbering them. Like I'm just gonna go. I think we're on tip like 7, I think now. But tip 7 is straight up find a hobby, find something to like pass the time to keep you excited. So also I talked about loneliness, but when you find something else that you can pass the time with, essentially, that gets you excited, that you can start to build. And it didn't really happen for me until I think later on in the process, like until I really realized like, oh, I could do this, which is YouTube. But find something that I think like keeps you excited, and keeps you busy. Because maybe you have work, then like you have a lot of downtime. Find something else to do where you can be productive. Learn a language. Go join a club. Start doing improv. I don't know. Find a hobby. But find something else that you like is exciting for you. Join an intramural sports team, and that could count as your outdoor workout too, right? So there's a lot of different things that you can do. My monitor fell down 1 second. That I think can help keep you excited. That's pretty much it for the tips. Oh, last tip number 8. Just do it. Just get started as well. Like I know I said that you need to have like the right mindset going into it and you need to be prepared, but when you start to kind of like prepare for it, I imagine there's a lot of people going through like analysis paralysis, so they're gonna overanalyze everything. Found myself overanalyzing my macros. I was like, okay, what does my exact calorie count need to be? Does it need to be this, that, and the third? I found myself really dialing in on my meal plan at first to start, and I was doing like all of this other stuff to prepare, which was great. But like it was starting to get to the point where I was overanalyzing, and it was just like, look, I just need to go. I just need to get started. So don't analyze yourself to the point where like you're not starting and you want to wait for the exact moment. Just get started. Just start with day 1. Because if you fail on day 1 or day 2, you just restart and go again, right? The last thing you want is to fail on day like 40, 50 when you're already midway through and then have to restart. So just get started, but make sure you're in the right mental state to get started, and don't overanalyze. Just get started. You can always adjust as you're going and as you're in the routine. Oh, one more tip. I do have a tip 9. For my meal plans, I actually started using a service called Strongr to just give me like a framework. So you could actually plug in your calories, you could plug in your macros, and it would dial up an exact meal plan that was pretty close to the nutrition amount that you needed to have. And then I used MyFitnessPal to track it. And Strongr even gives you a grocery list. And this isn't a plug for Strongr. They're not paying this video. I have like literally almost 200 subscribers. Like that's not enough for them to be paying me to make to sponsor this video. But it did a great job of, for the first, I would say, month, like giving me recipes and a meal plan to follow to stay on track. And once I got in the habit of that, of following that to a T, I started to just do my own thing. I was like, okay, I know what I need to do. I know how much I need to eat. I know what I can cook right now. And you just start, and then you can start improvising, doing your own thing. But start with a framework at first to just get you going. If you have trouble with like coming up with meal plans that can fit your macros, or you're like not creative and you're like, I don't want to just eat chicken every day. Start there, and then you can start to improvise. But I think it was really good, at least for the first couple weeks, to have like that framework, just so I didn't have to think about what I was eating. I just knew what I had to eat, and I could just go. And then as I got to like, the second month, it was just kind of like, all right, I know what I want to make today. I know what I need to get at the grocery store at Trader Joe's to eat. And you kind of go on autopilot. But I think to start, it was like super, super helpful. Let's talk about results. Let's talk about what happened. So here's my before picture. And here's my after picture. Now, this is front profile, side profile, and back profile. Now, I think there's definitely a lot of progress that I still want to make. Like I'm in nowhere way, shape, or form where I want to be at the end of the day. But I made such good progress, and I have to remember it's only 2.5 months. Like 2.5 months is not a very long time to make this amount of progress. And so I did, and here are my DEXA scans kind of side by side. One's a DEXA scan, one was like a 360 body scan. One of the biggest things that I saw, well, here's them side by side again. And one of the biggest things that I saw was actually I'm down 7% body fat. So I went from 25%, 25 or 26%, all the way down to about 18%, which is insane. And we're getting to a level where aesthetically I'm starting to look good. And I would say that my goal is to get in between 12 to 15, right? I want to get to the 12%. That's where the money is. But I'm at 18%, which is very healthy. You know, I saw myself at 26%. That's a lot for me. And so I'm down to 8% and I'm down like 8 pounds, which means that my plan was working. I maintained a lot of muscle. And I was able to also lose a lot of fat in the process. So my diet worked. I did it was doing exactly what I wanted it to do. And I'm going to try to continue this actually now that 75 hard is over. I'm actually going to continue a lot of the 75 hard tasks now that it's over. I'm still going to walk a lot. I'm still going to do all those things. So the other big things was like my weights, like lifting, right? Now I can bench about 4 reps of 245, which I think is the most that I've ever been able to bench before. And that's not even a max. I haven't tested my max, but I imagine it's a little more than that, which is like really exciting. So my bench was really, really, really high. I'm not a big squatter, deadlifter. The most I got, I think, was 3 plates. It was either three. I think it was 3 plates was the most I got. But then I'm like worried about my back because I'm a hypochondriac, so then I stopped. It was either 3 plates or like 2 and a 35, 2 and a 45. I don't remember that exact amount. But from a weightlifting standpoint, I was able to lift more than I ever had in the past, which was like really exciting. And maybe I can actually look at my logs and see what my highest deadlift was. I probably should do that. But yeah, I would say the biggest thing like was just like the aesthetic difference that I was able to see over the 2.5 months. And you have to remember, 2.5 months is not a long period of time. So you can see a dramatic amount of change in that period. And if you just keep going, I think you can definitely get to the place that you want to be in 3 to 6 months. But yeah, so the results were really good. So overall, what are my thoughts on 75 hard? I think it's life changing. I think it's great. As I said, I want to keep doing a lot of the things from it, and I'm not going to stop. I'm still going to drink a lot of water. I'm going to walk more, just to ensure. I noticed when I was walking more, my lower back pain was gone, so I'm going to stay walking more. And I honestly don't really want to go back to drinking as much as I did. I used to drink probably almost every weekend or every other weekend, maybe 2 days a week, maybe one day a week. And it wasn't really, I feel like, sustainable. And I don't think it was benefiting my life for the better, to be honest. Like, I think it was just like basically I would do it and then I would just like burn a day. I would burn my Sunday because I would just feel really sluggish. So I kind of want to limit that more to where I'm really only doing it when it's like special occasions, when it's events, when it's a birthday, when it's a wedding. If I'm traveling, then maybe I can do it. But I'm not gonna on a weekend be like, oh, it's a Saturday. I need to go out, right? So I think I'm gonna limit that a lot more now. I'll probably continue to do it at some point, but for the time being, I'm probably just gonna push through and just focus on my fitness and my health for the next 3 months. And if I get to my physical goals, then we can maybe cut some things down a little bit. But overall, life changing experience. Highly recommend it for anybody that's looking to do a new challenge and is in the mindset to make a change. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Appreciate you for listening to me ramble about 75 hard, and have a good rest of your day. See ya. Bye.